on the replay, I don't know if I don't know if apologize is the right word. I am aware that I'm doing this on my phone and it is in portrait mode. So to those who are not so into that, I guess, yeah, my apologies. My internet is still not really working for live streams right now. It's in my office, so we're doing it on the phone again. I look forward to see who's going to hop on. As promised, we are going to go over the astrological energies for the month of May. We're going to go through the full moon in Sagittarius on the 23rd and the rest of the astrology for May as we move deeper into Gemini season will be in a subsequent video because we've got quite enough to be getting on with here. So we're going to talk about all of these energies. And then, of course, we will pull some cards at the end to see what messages Spirit has for us regarding all of the beauty that we are experiencing as we move through this glorious month of May, or as we continue to move through. We just had that powerful new moon in Taurus, really setting us up for just a beautiful crescendo of energies, working and continuing to work with Venus, the Sun, Uranus, and Jupiter primarily, as well as the beginnings of Pluto retrograde. And this is Pluto's final retrograde back into Capricorn, hitting that 29 degree, that anaretic degree of Capricorn once again, and really closing out all of those Pluto and Capricorn energies that we have been working with consistently for quite some time now. And I believe it was 2008 that Pluto moved into Capricorn? Somebody fact check me on that. There's always more information that I should have gotten for you guys that I didn't. Check out, I've done videos on Pluto and Capricorn and the significance of that transit as we are breaking down these authoritarian systems. And there's just so much that is so powerful as we've had Pluto moving through Capricorn and really asking us on an individual level, as well as a collective level, to master our energy, to master our vibration, to take responsibility for our creations, and really helping us to understand where it is that we give our power away, especially when it comes to systems of authority and who and what it is that we allow to have authority over ourselves, over our being, as we learn how to step more deeply and more powerfully into our sovereignty. That is so much of what Pluto in Capricorn was about. And Pluto in Aquarius is a gorgeous energy all of its own. So once we finish with this particular Pluto retrograde, that's it. She's all done. That's all she wrote for another 200 some odd years as we continue to move forward here and really work in earnest with those Pluto in Aquarius energies. Hello, Evelyn. Welcome, sister. It's great to see you. Just blessing my coffee there. It was a long night at my house last night, so definitely I don't typically drink or consume caffeine this late in the afternoon, but today it's what's happening. So hi Holly, great to see you as well. So exciting. So we've got that Pluto retrograde going on, and we've had this interesting interplay of energies as all of our planets have been sort of moving past aspects to this Pluto at 0 to 2 degrees of Aquarius, as they've been sort of like being christened here as they pass through this gateway of energy and aspects to this gateway of energy. And we're going to continue to see some aspects being made to Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. On the 15th, when Mercury enters Taurus, Mercury is going to enter Taurus in a square to Pluto. So receiving its own activation as it moves through these energies. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. We're going to backtrack before we really get going here, because our first aspect that we're going to discuss starts on the 11th of May. And before we get into that, and while more people are hopping on, how did everyone experience that new moon in Taurus? How were you feeling with those energies? That was a really powerful, heart-opening energy. I was able to get on and do a short live stream with everybody on the night of the Taurus new moon after the Patreon live call. There was just so much beautiful energy. I really wanted to connect with everyone and share with the rest of the tribe while we were in that energy. And it was a beautiful live stream. It was beautiful. It's always just wonderful, wonderful energy whenever we all get together. This is why we do this, right? This is why we come together, why we form these collectives, these tribes, because our energy amplifies when we are connecting with other starseeds, with other light workers who are consciously aware of their mission, right? Because everybody is a light worker and really everybody is a starseed. It's just like who is consciously aware of that and working with that energy and who is working with it more unconsciously. And this has been the great trick played upon us, right? That when people work with their energy unconsciously, when they create unconsciously, this is how we ended up in the mess that we're in. And so as each and every single one of us awakens, takes our energy back, takes our frequency, our vibration, that mastery of energy that we were just talking about with Pluto and Capricorn, that's when we begin to really shift and change this reality. And it's so profound and it's so simple, really, because all we have to do is do our own healing work, right? And many of us may be called to share that journey, to share that process, as I do and as many others do. And it may not be, on YouTube. It could be with the people in your life, wherever and however you are sharing it. Even if you think that you're not sharing it, you are an example to somebody. Somebody is watching you grow and evolve, and it is inspiring them and helping to give them the courage to do the same. And as we continue to move through this process, we're going to have more and more people who are looking for guidance and looking to us for that guidance. We are the way showers. So just really continuing this process of healing, of growing and evolving. And as I mentioned in the last live stream that I did, I'm really excited to announce that I am full steam ahead with the one-on-one coaching. So if you guys want to grow and evolve alongside me with my guidance and with all the different tools at my disposal here that I've put together over the last 10 years or so, go ahead and let me know. There's a link in the description box below for the intake questionnaire for that. I would love to get the ball rolling with some of you working either on a weekly or bi-weekly basis to really accelerate your ascension process and get you on that highest, most organic timeline for your own ascension. And it is a wild ride as we're jumping onto that timeline, you guys. And that's what 2024 is all about. As we have been saying, it's a quantum shift in reality and a quantum leap forward onto the timeline, like our own personal ascension timeline and our collective ascension timeline. Hello, Stanley. Oh yeah. Hello, Heather. We are clearing traumas like nobody's business right now, you guys. It is so beautiful and so powerful. And like as we do that, we clear our whole ancestral line. We help us initiate that clearing for the collective. This is big, big stuff. So many of us, we're always like feeling like our purpose is this great thing outside of ourselves. Our greatest purpose here is within ourselves. We dismantle the false matrix from within. It all starts here. Because remember, the false matrix really has been dismantled. The only place it still lives, and it's in the heart and the minds, where it's anchored itself like this, like a dark weed almost. And we're pulling that weed out by the roots, you guys. And as we do that, as each and every single person does that, that is how and when this ascension process completes itself. Whatever that means, right? Because nothing's ever really completed. But this phase of that process, this breaking free of the false matrix. Hello, Sarah Lou. Welcome, beautiful. All right, so let's get into this. We have on the 11th, the sun hitting 21 degrees of Taurus. And this is a really important milestone for the sun because 21 degrees of Taurus is a real hot point in the sky right now. After that conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter really activated this energy, this 21 degrees of Taurus point. Oh, and I was just, the Pleiadian portal is going to be happening this month as well. You guys, I forgot to put that in my notes. I'm definitely going to be doing a separate video on that. And I'm feeling some activation around that 21 degree of Taurus point. I don't even think 21 degrees of Taurus is actually part of the Pleiades. I think it's those later degrees of Taurus, but there's something with that as a connecting point right now, or as a bridge. I don't fully understand it, but I know that it's important right now. So maybe more will come through on that later. Maybe it won't. Sometimes we're given like little puzzles and riddles on here, right? But the sun has finally popped out in the UK. Wonderful. The sun's coming and going here. You know, it's kind of playing peekaboo right now. So we're actually have some sun breaking through the clouds as I'm doing this live stream. And it's so funny because I just did a reading for TikTok and it was called Here Comes the Sun. So I love that for us. I love that the sun is coming through. It's like a beautiful, it's like literal, but also a metaphor, I think, for that sun activating and illuminating each and every single one of us, and how more light and illumination is coming into our lives as we move through this month of May. And as we all know, of course, the sun is a portal. Our sun is an incredibly powerful portal. And I'm sure those solar rays and those solar flares are going to continue to intensify as we move forward here towards the Lion's Gate. But that is our life force. That is, I mean, the sun is everything. So go out and soak up as much of it as you can. And I was going to do that too. So I recorded for everyone. I have a free energy clearing meditation in the description box below. Now, if you click on the link, you can get the free meditation, but I'm going to do another one for you guys. I totally forgot. And now I'm being reminded of it again, of how connecting with the grand central sun and connecting in and bridging in that energy to help activate and illuminate the light body and the being, because I did a meditation. I just kind of went through and created this meditation with my higher self, co-created this meditation one day when I was really craving that healing power of the sun, and I could not access it because it was cold and cloudy and just kind of like par for the course for New England where I live, especially this year. It's been a long, long winter and not really a spring. So spring is just now hitting. But it was really powerful. I could quite literally feel, it felt like I was getting a sunburn. Like that's how hot my body got from this meditation. So I'm gonna record that as well. But if you guys want a brief energy clearing meditation, it also, as I was doing the meditation, came through an activation of our soul song, which was really beautiful. So go ahead and check that out in the description box below. But it's just beautiful. The sun is so active right now. Like we said, a major player as we're moving through this chunk of the month of May here. And you're going to see as we go through this list, all the different conjunctions being made between Uranus, the sun, Venus, Jupiter. It's just, it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. So that 21 degree of Taurus point, a big, big point in the sky right now. And so as the sun hits this point, it's really like bringing back the illumination and the energy activations that we began receiving when Jupiter and Uranus met at this point on the 20th of May. And it's really almost like bringing a deeper integration of the downloads and the activations that we received during that conjunction. So that's going to be extremely powerful. And if we can get out in the sun and experience that physical sunlight, that's going to be like the cherry on top, so to speak. So go ahead, try, hopefully, let's set the intention right now to manifest and bring in that beautiful, healing, illuminating light energy of the sun, like physically, so that we can experience it in our physical reality and really soak in those rays on the 11th of May. And the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, if you guys haven't watched that video yet, definitely check it out. The energy of that is not just, it was not confined to that day and confined to these moments when we have things like the sun on the 11th activating this point in the sky. That energy is going to ripple outwards, and it created a brand new 12 to 14 year cycle. I think it was actually, the video says 12 years, but I think this particular Jupiter transit is actually 14. So whatever, check it out for check it out for yourselves. I may have been slightly off on my numbers there. Jupiter is roughly a 12-year cycle, but it's big. We're going to continue to work with these energies. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. And so don't worry. Don't feel like, oh, I missed it. I didn't feel anything from that. I didn't receive anything. You are receiving it. It's an ongoing process. All right. And Mercury retrograde has been a big part of that process. We talked about that in the Mercury retrograde in Aries video. Mercury is now direct, full steam ahead, moving toward Taurus, where, as we said, it's going to hit that 0 degree of Taurus point in a square to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius on the 15th. However, before we get there, and hello, Pluto, I see you there, beautiful. before we get there, on the 13th of May, we have the sun coming into conjunction with Uranus. So at 23 degrees of Taurus. So the sun hits that 21 degree point where Uranus and Jupiter had their conjunction, and then moves on to make a conjunction with Uranus itself at 23 degrees of Taurus. And as the sun hits 23 degrees of Taurus on the 13th and comes into connection with Uranus, we have Jupiter at 27 degrees of Taurus, and we have Venus over at 17. So there's like a little sandwich being made here. And we had a similar sandwich kind of an energy, a lot of sandwich energy this month, you guys, going on during the new moon in Taurus. So we see these energies and these themes just continuing on, these planets really supporting each other, supporting the breakthroughs that we are having, the expansion of the heart center, the expansion of awareness, where it is that awareness needs to be brought in for us individually so that we can make the shifts that we are wanting and needing to make at this time to, like we said, align with that highest timeline. So really, really beautiful from the 11th until the 13th. That's going to be a gorgeous energy that we are entertaining. And then there's going to be a little bit more tension felt when we have Mercury and Taurus hitting that square to Pluto retrograde, right? This is, and hello, Madam Chakra. This is where we have, squares are tense. Pluto's always a little bit intense, right? And in retrograde, so perhaps even more so in some senses. So there may be a pushback here, trying to feel into this energy. I've been chasing my son around all day, and I don't know. I wanted to look into my own personal chart, and I was like, I feel like my Neptune is being aspected harshly right now, or something is going on, because it has not been as bad as when we had the Mars conjunct Pisces energy with that drained kind of feeling. But I've definitely been in that escapism mode a little bit more than I would like. And it's like it bounces back and forth. I don't know if you guys can relate to that at all. Like, you feel really motivated and really inspired one day and you get so much done. And then for another couple days, it's almost like you just want to disengage. And I don't know if that's Spirit's telling me that some of that is part of the integration process. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. So some people also may be experiencing that as well. Like, I had huge breakthroughs, and I came on and shared some of those breakthroughs with you guys on the live stream that we did last night, like really powerful stuff. And then it was like, I'm done for a minute, like, so it's like calling in those Taurian themes of patience, right? Having patience, understanding that we're playing the long game here. We don't have to get it all done in one day, but the openings and the opportunities are presenting themselves and are going to continue to present themselves. Always, right? There's always an opportunity. Like, when we talk about these planetary alignments, this is just when the energies are opening up the most for specific. They're giving us specific invitations of what they can help us to really dig into more. But there's always an opportunity if we create it, right? If we manifest it, if we attract it through our vibration each and every single day, in every single moment, every single version of the now. And this was actually something that I shared on the live stream last night. I think it was last night, or was it the night before? I think it was the night before last. I can't even remember anymore. Whatever the 7th was, whatever Tuesday was. We're in Thursday now. Okay. I've been in super mommy mode all week. So it's all the days kind of have blended together a little bit, especially, like I said, we didn't get a whole lot of sleep around here last night. It was a little bit of a rough night, and I had a crazy night the night before. Maybe when we get through all of this, I'll tell you guys a little bit about that if you want to hear about my strange, alien extraterrestrial interactions and things that were going on. It was wild. But yeah, where was I going with all of that? Something about, I don't know, how I didn't feel into these energies beforehand. I'm just doing it with you guys as we go through this right now. Yeah, you've been feeling that, Madam Chakra. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, so it's the integration piece. The Spirit wants us to know and understand that we are integrating. And if we feel like we need that break, we need that disconnect, don't stay disconnected for too long. But if you need to unplug, and like, just I almost said if you need to plug in, just be careful with that, right? We don't want to get too plugged into the false matrix. And one thing that okay, full circle here, that I shared on the live stream Tuesday night was something really profound, that just a connection that was really fascinating. So I was listening to Carrie Kay, who I sometimes listen to. I really enjoy her stuff. It's very in alignment, right? And she was talking about how when we are living in the past or the future, we're living in the false matrix. And when we are present in the now, that is when we exist within the organic matrix. That is when we are no longer, we've moved out, we've all ascended out, in a sense, from the false matrix. When we are fully present and anchored in the now, that's the only time that the false matrix does not exist, and we are not tapped into it on some level. So that was really profound. And I was like, you know, we talk about the importance of the now all the time, but I never really thought about it in those terms, but it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? And that's why they program us so deeply to always avoid being present, to always be either thinking about the past, worrying about the past or the future, oftentimes, right? Reminiscing, worrying, or distracting ourselves by playing on our phones, by watching TV, by playing video games, by scrolling through social media, whatever it is that we're doing, right? So we're never centered in the now. That is where all our power is. And that is part of why that is where all our power is, because that is the only time that we are able to fully and completely exist outside of the false matrix. So big revelation there. Isn't it, Sarah? Yeah, I thought that was really fascinating. As soon as she said it, it was like I received that recognition, right? That resonance kicked off within me, and I was like, "Ooh, that's real. That is true, and that's important. That's powerful." So the more we can be present, and Taurus energy is all about presence. That's one of the main goals of Taurus energy, is learning how to become fully present, fully anchored into the now. The Taurus Scorpio axis is all about transcendence. It's a really powerful axis in astrology. And if any of you guys want to learn about the axes of astrology, I will create in the future links to them. Right now, just email me. I have a course available that I taught for Synchronicity University on the 6 axes of the zodiac. But that Taurus Scorpio axis is big, and it's all about those energies, right? Taurus, the energy of presence. Scorpio, the energy of diving deep into the psyche, of the shadow work, right? And then bringing that into the awareness and solidifying that into the awareness with the Taurus energy. That's like a really brief summary of that there. So where were we? Yes, Mercury square Pluto. So we may be feeling that energy of limitation. We may be feeling that energy of frustration here. We may have difficulty. We just want to be careful with our words. We want to be careful that we don't harm with our words. We're going to perhaps be getting insights into ourselves, into others, but we're not necessarily meant to share all of that. You know, and we're definitely not meant to share things simply for getting a rise out of somebody. And I almost feel like there may be a little bit of that energy present for some people. There's also this energy of that typical Taurian trait of stubbornness coming through here. So try not to be too stubborn, but do stand your ground. That's sort of like the guidance as we're moving through, looking at that piece of it. And this is also energies when we have Mercury and Taurus like this, there's energies of safety and security, and where it is that feels threatened. So we may be experiencing some of that in some area of our lives. It may be energies that we're receiving those triggers through our interactions with other people, through friends, associates, things like that. It's gonna be an interesting day. We'll put it that way. But there's a lot of opportunity here for diving deep within the psyche, and the more present and the more observational we're able to be on and around that day, the more that we're going to learn, the more information we're going to receive about ourselves, about our own perhaps insecurities, about our own desires and needs when it comes to what makes us feel safe, what makes us feel secure. And we want to be careful of seeking that in other people, because with an aspect like this, it's likely that they may disappoint us. And that may be what we need, right? I know some of my greatest growth has come from being disappointed by other people, right? I mean, in 12-step, we always used to say disappointments are premeditated resentments, or expectations are premeditated resentments. But we all have them. It's really hard not to have them sometimes. And sometimes, oh, this is a wound coming through, I think, for some people too. It's like the resentment is against the self for having an expectation that we could have read a person or a situation more accurately, and we didn't. Like that energy of getting hoodwinked almost, which is interesting. Another thing to pay attention to as Mercury enters Taurus is that Mercury slows down in the sign of Taurus. Taurus energy is, think about the bull grazing on the grass, right? The bull may charge every once in a while if it gets aggravated, but for the most part, it's just kind of plodding along. And so where our energy, our mental energy was and it went through some phases, right? Because Mercury went retrograde in Aries. So there was a bit of a slowdown, a turnaround, so to speak. But it's still a fiery energy. It's still a fast moving energy. So now Mercury is experiencing a big slowdown, especially in that square to Pluto. And so we want to, this is why we also, it's almost like some people may find that all of a sudden they're stumbling over their words, that they're becoming a little bit more insecure about what they say and how they say it, because Mercury in Taurus really likes to, and I understand this because my Mercury is in Taurus, really likes to feel like they fully understand something before they speak on it. They like to chew it over, kind of like I'm imagining the bull sort of grazing, chewing the grass. The processing is a little bit slower, but once the information is fully processed, it's in the bank, right? It's anchored in there. As long as there's this is the funny thing about the way the mind works with Mercury and Taurus, and I figured this out just by observing my own mind, is that, and this is true for any earth sign, Mercury in any earth sign, if the information is practical or applicable in some way to a person's life, they will remember it, and they'll remember it almost like an elephant, the memory of an elephant, right? But if it's not directly applicable to something practical within the life, then it's sometimes it kind of gets glossed over. So just remember that as well. And people may be having more deliberate conversations, slower conversations. Like we said, they may be a little bit more stubborn in their viewpoints. They may really need to chew and mull things over as Mercury begins this transit through Taurus, which once we get used to the switch in pace is a really good counterbalance to that fast-paced, like act first, think later, speak first, apologize later, right? Energy of Mercury in Aries. It's a really nice slowdown before Mercury enters Gemini and then is like full speed ahead in one of the signs of its rulership. Your Mercury is in Libra. Mercury in Libra can be a really beautiful placement. All right, so continuing on here. On the 18th of May, Venus is now going to come into conjunction with Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus. So hitting that point where the sun was just conjunct Uranus on the 13th, now we have Venus coming up, making that beautiful connection with Uranus. And as this is happening, the sun is going to be conjunct Jupiter at 28 degrees of Taurus. So we have the sun and Jupiter. This is a big, big, expansive energy. Optimism. This is going to be a gorgeous energy. We are going to want to indulge. We are going to want to enjoy the finer things in life, experience that pleasure in whatever form that pleasure comes. It's a really beautiful activating energy. With Venus also conjunct Uranus at the same time, this is really fascinating. Now, keep in mind, though, all these planets are within range of each other and have been pretty much since we began this journey in May, definitely since around the 5-5 and with that new moon in Taurus. So this is really nothing new. These are just like major activation points as they come into these conjunctions, but they're within range of each other. They've been all sharing energy together all throughout this month, which is what makes this so beautiful and magical. But as we have these sort of like charge points of energy here, as the sun comes into that exact alignment with Jupiter and Venus with Uranus, the Venus and Uranus energy is going to make us, it's going to activate that rebellious energy a little bit. It's going to really activate our need to speak our minds, which is why, like we said, we want to like take note of that Mercury and Taurus energy to say what we mean, and we mean what we say, but don't say it mean, right? As they say. And we're going to have that. We're going to be interested in connections and conversations that challenge us, that help us to expand our vision, our understanding. We're going to be, when Venus and Uranus come together, this is when people sometimes decide like, oh, I really need a haircut, or I really need to like do something different. And so there's a lot of that. Everyone wants to bring in that fresh, inventive energy. This is a great time to bring a little bit of Zazazoo into your relationship or your friendships or connections, as well as calling that into your own life. It really calls on us to bring more elegance and more beauty to all aspects of our being and our earthly experience. This is when we are attracted to what is strange, what is dangerous, what is different to a certain extent. Though remember, this is happening in Taurus. Taurus is not always necessarily as a pure energy, right? Actually, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Taurus has a freaky sign and definitely a very rebellious side to it. So, I actually won't say that. We'll cancel that. Cancel, clear, delete that. But we're gonna be really wanting those novel experiences. And so if you're going out on a date, for instance, do something really fun that neither one of you has ever done, that's a little bit scary or a little bit challenging. Have a new experience. If you're trying to rekindle romance or passion, experience something new together, or go out and experience something new yourself. This is definitely an energy of breaking with tradition and breaking with routine here. Zazazoo, it's like that je ne sais quoi, you know what I mean, Ploon? It's another word for that. All right. And interestingly enough, so the sun and Jupiter are going to be in a sextile to Neptune in Pisces as they come together at 28 degrees of Taurus. Neptune being at 28, unless it's at 29, but I believe still 28 degrees of Pisces. So an exact sextile there, calling in more of that dreamy energy, perhaps making things could be a bit confusing. We could, during this time, perhaps this is why I gave that quote about expectations being premeditated resentments. We may be looking at life with our rose-colored glasses on. We may be kind of in that energy of feeling larger than life, almost like that euphoric or that like that risk-taking energy, without maybe looking at all of the variables. Even though we are in the sign of Taurus for most of these energies, aside from Neptune and Pisces is a strong energy. And Jupiter, when we have these conjunctions with Jupiter, even in Taurus, it doesn't matter what sign Jupiter is in. Jupiter is more. All right. So we want to make sure that we are allowing ourselves to dream big. This is an energy that is calling upon us to do that, but also like try to have more realistic expectations in the sense of like, or cancel that, right? Because what have most of us been trained that is realistic, right? This is the box that we place ourselves in, right? The limitations. So not necessarily realistic expectations in that sense, but like try not to have highly unrealistic ones, especially when it comes to other people, because they're going to be a little bit unpredictable right now, just like our own energy and experience could be. But go out there and have fun. This is a big energy that wants to connect, that wants to be social, that wants to live and enjoy life. And that energy continues on the 20th when we have the sun entering the sign of Gemini, who's all about that. Gemini is the social butterfly. It's about getting out there, gathering information, sharing information and perspectives, sharing energy. A very social season when we enter the sign of Gemini and the season rather of Gemini here. And on the 23rd, just 3 days after the sun enters Gemini, we are going to have the full moon in Sagittarius. And the full moon in Sagittarius is happening during the conjunction of Venus and Jupiter at 29 degrees of Taurus. And this is really interesting that they're at 29 degrees because this is the anaretic degree. That's what it's known as in astrology. This is the make it or break it point. This is the final degree in a sign. So there's a lot of importance and emphasis and energy connected with this degree, as well as energies of clairvoyance. Like people who have this in their charts are often known to be clairvoyant. And we all are, right? It's just how tapped into that we are. But so this is a really powerful, really interesting, a very heart expanding energy. And we may experience, especially with the energies we've been working through with all of these planets making these connections with each other, is this make it or break it point when it comes to something, some challenge or invitation that Taurus season has offered us to open and expand our hearts, to open and expand our view of ourselves and what it is that we're capable of. This is huge opportunities, or the need to, and the reminder to capitalize on the opportunities that are presented to us, especially when it comes to love, when it comes to abundance and wealth, when it comes to all of these Taurian themes. And remember, one of the big themes that we're working with this month, if you didn't watch the 3 major themes of Taurus season video, please check that out. I'll link a couple of the videos, the Jupiter, Uranus, and the Taurus season video in the description box below. That was like, that's one of the big energies, this energy of self-love and self-acceptance, radical self-acceptance, living and speaking our truth, shaking off these traumas and these fears of how we're going to be seen, how we're going to be perceived. And we all have these. I have major wounds in my personal astrology chart when it comes to these energies of being accepted by groups. Like it doesn't really, like, I'm so connected with all of you that it doesn't really translate as deeply here. But when I'm connecting with any large group of people, it's like that wound, I feel it activate. There's still energy of that wants to be cleared personally for me. That's something that I'm making a note. Actually, I'm going to write it down right now. That wants to be healed and worked on as we're moving through. So this is like a reminder also to us of like what came up for you that you have not quite healed yet. What has come up for you that you kind of put on the back burner this month that really is desiring healing. So we may be confronted with that. And if it may be through a relationship, through a connection, through a circumstance, being brought back into our awareness of like, hey, hi, you haven't dealt with me yet, but I'm still here. And like, I really want your attention right now. Almost like a little child kind of hopping up and down, raising their hand. Like, let's work through this, please. Let's heal this. Let's alchemize this, because this is holding us back and we don't want to do this anymore. Right? We're ready to move beyond this. And like I said, if you guys want assistance with this, please reach out to me. I offer a lot of things. I offer a single session. I don't know if everyone missed me for a second there. I'm going to just say the last phrase that I said, hopefully. We still have a lot of these same players active around the sun that we had during that new moon in Taurus. All right, so it's another activation of these energies, but we're now looking at it through the lens and also the viewpoint of Sagittarius. So it's bringing in that beautiful, mutable fire energy here. It's really, we're getting fired up. We're getting excited now. Where there might have been more of a seriousness, like a beautiful energy, right? With the Taurus, with the new moon in Taurus, but now it's like we're really getting fired up here. So this is showing us a point that we may have overlooked or missed that wants to be addressed so that we can really step into and embrace our full abundance and potential. And that's what that full moon in Sagittarius is all about, embracing the fullness of our potential. And we're going to get into that. Of course, I'm going to do a video on that hopefully later this week for you guys, specifically getting into those energies. But that's sort of the gist of it right now. We have the Pleiadian portal activating around the 16th of May, going until roughly, I believe it's, let's see, the 23rd, the full moon, I think, going through the full moon. My birthday is the 17th of May, so the Pleiadian portal always starts as like the day before my birthday. So that one is really easy to remember, and I am going to do a separate video, like I said, for you guys on the Pleiadian portal as well. This is when the sun is moving through the Pleiades, and this year, because we also have Uranus and Jupiter and Venus moving through these energies as we get toward the full moon, it's going to be really, really big. The Pleiadian portal is going to be wild this month, you guys. I had like 30 Pleiadian ships flying over my house the other night. It was absolutely insane. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Annika. Welcome. That's your daughter's birthday too? Oh, that's awesome. I love it. So I always have this argument going with my mother because she always, you know, she's like, you're a Taurus. You're a straight up Taurus. And when I started learning about astrology a little more, I was like, well, yeah, but I'm on the cusp. Hi, guys. Sorry about that. I think somebody was trying to call me. Let me... There we go. Sometimes I forget to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And I think that's what just happened there. So sorry about that. Glitched out for a minute. But yeah, so I used to have that conversation with my mom and I'd be like, I'm a Taurus Gemini cusp though. And she'd be like, cusps aren't real. And well, I do believe that it's really important to note the exact degree of your sun sign because it says a lot about your energy. And mine is 26 degrees of Taurus. That is very much within Taurus, right? Even 29 is the anaretic degree. So it's very, very important. However, I do still hold true that you do feel some of that energy from the incoming sign when you are on the cusp or, you know, vice versa. So, you know, and when we think about it too, I mean, if we're looking at our progress charts, like within a few years, our sun has progressed into Gemini, or like in the case of a Taurus Gemini cusp, or whatever that next sign is. So I do think that there is, like, we do feel some of that energy with the cusps on the sun signs. I don't read into cusps with all the different planets, but I do to a certain point with that because it feels relevant. I mean, as I learned more about astrology, I learned that my Venus was also in Gemini. So that sort of gives another layer. But I don't know. I still recognize the cusps, and I love all my fellow cuspies here and all of my beautiful May. We have a lot of people born in the month of May. It was a real, like, I think I traced it back. It was what it was 9 months before May. Was it like fall time or winter? I don't know. But like a lot of people were getting busy every year around that time because May babies, it's like we're just raining babies in the month of May. So yeah, just into Pisces, always called it on the cusp. Yeah, you know, I say 3 or 4 days. You're feeling that energy, like you're really moving toward the energy of that next sign, but you are still very anchored. So when we're looking at an evolutionary standpoint, we really want to understand the exact degree of our sun sign and just really focus on that energy because that is the energy that our soul chose to come into this lifetime with for a reason. So when we're looking at it in an evolutionary standpoint, we really want to focus on the degree and not get ahead of ourselves, so to speak. But when we're looking at the ways these energies influence our personalities and our ways of being and modes of being, like I think the cusps definitely have relevance and are definitely worth discussing. Hello, Michael. Welcome. Hello, Scorpion Princess. Great to see you all. I think my coffee's probably cold now. I also don't think I really need that much more of it. Honestly, like it's so activating being here with all of you. So let's pull some cards here. Right? Sorry if that swallow was really loud. I know I have the mic on right now. Let's see. What are we going to do? I want to pull from the Astro Star Codes. Or is that, did I just invert that? The Star Codes Astro Oracle. This is a fun one. Get some energy as we're moving through these next few weeks here. Clear. What does Spirit want us to know? What guidance, what information wants to come through for my beautiful collective? Yeah, I think we're going to continue to experience that seesaw to a certain extent. And for me, a lot of that seesaw has been as we've been moving through this Taurus season. And I've also been receiving a lot of activations from this. My Mercury is at 19 degrees of Taurus. And I have What else? My sun at 26, like we said. So I've been receiving a lot of activations from these energies in my natal chart, which definitely makes sense. But it's been a pendulum of like insecurity and those energies and swinging through back into confidence. And it's like, ultimately we're finding that middle ground, right? But it takes a little bit of time. It takes what it takes. And it's a deeper level that we're accessing each time so we can step into a deeper level of authenticity. I was discussing on the live stream that we did the other night during the new moon, that energy of how when I was younger, I created this sort of false confidence and false persona that I was so deeply convinced, like I bought into it hook, line, and sinker, you know, and I think most other people did too. It was very much like a Leo type energy, like in its really unbalanced state that I kind of took on. And, as I got clean and went through my recovery process and began my healing journey, there was a really powerful stripping away of all of that false confidence to get back to the core of the insecurities and the fears so that then those could be alchemized and transmuted and I could develop true confidence and true self-love and self-respect. And that's been quite a journey. And, you know, we're all still on that journey to a certain extent. Hello, is it Gianji? Beautiful name, by the way. And I did respond to your email. I don't know if you received my email back or not, Gianji. I don't know. I think sometimes I do have a professional email now. I probably need to switch over to that one for communications because I feel like sometimes because my address, my email address that I was using is a Gmail one, it gets sent as spam when I'm replying to people. So go ahead and check. I don't know if that fell into your spam folders or not, but I did respond to you the other day. All right, we have Juno partnership coming out. So we're going to be having partnership and relationship on our minds, which I believe we definitely touched on that as we were going over these energies with all these heavy aspects to Venus. And there's probably something going on with Juno too, honestly. This is why I like doing these live streams for you guys on my laptop, because I can't check my phone to look at my chart. I have to get one of my backup phones going so I can look over the charts while I'm talking to you guys, because I would love to look at Juno and see what's happening with Juno itself right now. But like, we get the gist, right? Relationships are going to be a focus. And like we said, relationships are going to be revealing things to us that we may not have that we might have missed, so to speak. We have Pluto rebirth coming out. All right, and that's 27. We talked about that 27 degree point being a point here that's going to be, was it 28? I don't know. Actually, I feel like it was 28, 23, 21, 23, and 28, and then 29. So maybe not 27, but yeah. We're in the range. All right, and then we have Pisces and Mars. And we had Mars and Pisces, right? I was just griping about that a little bit, that conjunction that we had there. And those are number 12 and 22, interesting enough, 12, 22, 1, 2, 2, 2. So those twos coming through for people who are into the numbers here. I mean, who isn't really? I think that's all of us. Pluto, our Scorpio. Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio, Annika, yes. And some of us, I'm of the Pluto and Scorpio generation. Some of us are. That was a really short Pluto transit. That was, I think, just like a 12-year transit there. When Pluto transited its own sign back in the 80s. How many different false personas you've gone through in your life? Absolutely, Annika. We've been so many different people, and they were all real to us at the time. You know what I mean? And all of those personas, as we're calling them, they all had a purpose and a function, and they were a different lens that we got to experience this reality through, right? An ego construct. Yes, Stanley, absolutely. Michael says, did you hear about the 4 CMEs from the sun to the earth? Better ground, good tomorrow. No, but I was just talking about the sun as a portal and the coronal mass ejections and all of the solar flares and everything, and how those are probably going to be amping up. So that's great confirmation that that is indeed happening. And what's tomorrow? Is tomorrow the 11th or is tomorrow the 10th? Because we're talking about the 11th is when the sun hits that 21 degree of Jupiter point or 21 degrees of Jupiter. 21 degrees of Jupiter where the Jupiter-Uranus connection was, or conjunction was. No, I'm getting all tongue-tied here. So that would be interesting if tomorrow is the 11th. Let's see. Tuesday was the 7th. Wednesday was the 8th. Thursday is the 9th. Tomorrow will be the 10th. So the 11th will be the day after. But really interesting how we're in that range of the sun hitting that 21 degree point when we were receiving these. We're getting hammered by these coronal mass ejections again. So, and 4, isn't that interesting? Those of you who watched the video I did about the total solar eclipse and the set of eclipses that we're going to have in 2027 and 2034. If you guys didn't check that out, I'll link that at the end of this video too. That was a must-see video. A lot of people were talking about the Aleph and the Tav that were formed by the paths of totality of 2020, the 2024 eclipse with the 2023 hybrid eclipse and the 2017 total solar eclipse. But we went beyond that to what's coming next as we have another giant Tav or X across the Middle East with Egypt as a focal point there, or the Red Sea and the very corner of Egypt where we find Luxor and Aswan and some really powerful cities within Egypt. And the number 4, it was either in that video or it was in the 4-4 portal video where we talked about the Lion's Gate and the connection to the Lion's Gate, the 4-4 portal as a precursor for the Lion's Gate portal. And isn't that funny? I wanted to be drinking from my Lion's mug during this live stream, and I was actually thinking about the 8-8 portal before we got on here. So interesting how we're going back to that again. Full circle here. So we talked about the significance of the number 4, the 4 sacred directions, the 4 resets of the earth, this being the 4th cycle that we're on right now, and all of the interesting things with the 4-4, 4 months from the 8-8, 4 being half of 8. It was really fascinating how that number 4 has been playing out. So I think it's interesting that there's 4 coronal mass ejections headed for us tomorrow. Hello, Ty. Welcome. Hello, Dee. Today is the 9th in Hawaii. Yep, so it'll be the 10th there too. Hello, Maestro. Hello, Jamie. You just saw 444 license plate. You can't make this shift up, you guys. That's amazing. Yes, Michael, it's one of my favorite mugs. Absolutely. Maestro, did I say hi? If I didn't, I meant to. Oh, the coronal mass ejections? Absolutely, Annika. Those are huge. So the sun is a portal. It is a stargate. And our sun is an especially important stargate. It is also, like we said, a portal, and the energy emanated from the sun is the energy of source itself. So this is where, when we talk about the great solar flash, we could call it the great solar flare, because eventually these energies are going to build up so much that all of that energy that the sun's been storing up is essentially just going to be blasted at us. And that is what is going to kind of create that final wave of ascension, so to speak. So as these coronal mass ejections, these solar flares are connecting with the earth and the atmosphere of the earth, they are shifting our cellular makeup. They are shifting and activating our DNA. They are a huge part of like what is shifting us on a cellular and a spiritual level as we move through this ascension process. The sun is huge. That is why we hear all this nonsense about them trying to block out the sun. And this is why they teach you to be afraid of the sun, tell you should wear sunblock all the time. Most sunblock is made of carcinogens, by way. You can get like pure zinc oxide. That's really the best thing to do. Obviously, if you're going to be out in the sun for a really long time, you probably want something like that, right? I'm not saying go fry yourself to a crisp. Remember, I'm not a doctor. However, I am saying that we have been taught to be afraid of the sun when the sun is the bringer of life, and the sun is the activation point for us. Annika, I think you missed it too. I told everyone it was a great reminder today to put out that meditation of harnessing the power of the great grand soul. Wow, my words. I think it's because I'm getting so excited. The Grand Central Sun, that guided meditation. I meant to do that for you guys. I haven't done that yet, but I did do a free energy clearing meditation that also helps to activate your soul song. So that is in the description box below if you guys want to click on the link for that and receive that meditation. Kula sunscreen is your favorite. Is that one of the pure, like the zinc oxide sunscreens right there? Oh, it's 4 o'clock where you are, Chris. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Jamie. She says, going from my ego being smashed to being fully gassed up. Yep. Oh, yeah. Hello, Robin. And avoid seed oils. Yep. Yeah, I have heard that. Hi, Vita. Yeah, the sun is so incredibly important. So before we go pulling more cards here, we're going to continue to look through what we've got out on the table here. So we have Mars and Pisces. I think that's what stimulated that whole rant, was seeing the Mars and Pisces cards here. All right. So let me feel into this. Let me read into this for a minute, you guys. I don't know what I'm doing here. Let's see. This is forward motion. This is determination. But what is the Pisces energy telling us here? This is definitely past life clearing when we've got Pluto and Pisces, which represents the 12th house, right? There's definitely a powerful clearing, and we had the Juno card come out before that. So I think there's a lot of karmic clearing going on in relationships right now. People may be meeting soulmates that you need to clear and work through some karma with. Or finally working through the karma if you are in a karmic situation. And remember, karmic is not always, it's not always like bad. Like, we demonize our karmic partners like they're these terrible human beings. They're here to help us grow, to help us ascend. You know what I mean? And not all karma is bad. What I was shown when I was doing on the last live stream we did, I went into the tapping and the Ho'oponopono and the things that I was doing and the past life memories that came through. And, you know, I remembered in those memories that my son has come back to me to redo a lifetime with me where I left him, where I took my life and I abandoned my children. And like, what I was shown was that there is karma there that's being healed, but it's not in a punishment sense. It's an opportunity for healing. Right? Karma doesn't have to be bad. Karmic partners don't have to be bad. It doesn't have to mean that it's going to be torture. It's going to be an awful experience, right? That they come, it's like we get that energy of like the karmic partner. A lot of us look at the karmic partner as like the opposite to the twin flame, right? And it's like, all you want is your twin flame, because we think of that as this beautiful, magical romance, love novel situation, which is not what it's meant to be at all, right? Kind of, but no. And the karmic is like the counterbalance energy to that. The partner that's just misery and rains hell and fire and brimstone upon our lives, right? It's not like that. So when I'm saying like a karmic coming in or like conclusion, this is just karmic energy being worked out, healing, growth, leveling up being achieved here, which is a beautiful thing. All right. So I don't want people to be like, oh God, I don't want a karmic relationship. Keep those karmic people away from me. You know what I mean? Like, this could be a really good thing. This would be a really good thing for whoever this is for. Oh, I love that, Annika. Good. I'm glad. I love doing those meditations with you guys on the Patreon. We do a live guided meditation most weeks related, that we do bi-weekly live calls related to the energies that we're working through. And hello, Joni, by the way. Great to see you. As we were. Karmics. Yeah, so don't like get all in a tizzy if I'm saying you may have a karmic coming in. For some people, like they've been you've been working out karmic patterns here, or somebody is simply revealing to you a karmic pattern that is ready to be healed. All right. Which is beautiful energy. Mars. And this is like the healing is going to result in a powerful upleveling of your masculine energy, your willpower, your ability to move forward and make those powerful strides. The North Node was on the bottom of the deck and I kept shuffling, but it's moving us toward our purpose, right? It's helping us to activate our purpose, our dharma, our soul's blueprint. So this is big, beautiful stuff. Some of my Pisces may be going through this as well. Or my Pisces are in an energy of leveling up right now, or have an invitation to level up in some way. In terms of their empowerment, their self-assertion, their will. There's like clarity coming through here. Emotional clarity. Yeah, North Node. I didn't even look. North Node was the card that popped out. I said was on the bottom of the deck. And then we also have, I got a ladybug going nuts right now on my ceiling. We also have 7th house relationship on the bottom of the deck, just emphasizing the importance of partnership and relationship in what we're talking about right now. So definitely a healing and rebirth in relationships. I think we had mentioned that. And I know that I had mentioned in the astrology that around the time, and I'm going to look up that date for you guys again, that Venus is conjunct Uranus on the 23rd. And then we could say Jupiter on the 29th as well during the full moon, but definitely around the 23rd or the 18th when Jupiter, not the 23rd, the 18th when Jupiter and Uranus are conjunct at 23 degrees of Taurus. That's a great day to shake things up, to try something new with somebody, to get some of that passion and that fire back into a relationship, to really rekindle that connection. And that could be what some of this Mars energy is too, is the rekindling of the flame, where that energy is necessary. So we're going to be, some people are going to be beginning a new journey where somebody comes into your life who's meant to teach you, meant to grow you, right? Some people are going to be completing that journey or completing certain cycles. And then it's going to be different for different people, like whether that relationship then ends because it's been completed, the energy, the contract, it's been completed, or it continues and is rebirthed into a different form, which is going to be really beautiful for some people. Yeah, Madam Chakra, I feel like that's more in alignment there. Yep. Yep. You got it there, I think. All right. So let's see. I'm going to pull. Do we want to get more into this energy, you guys, or do we want to move on? Let me know what you want to do. I think it's pretty self-explanatory here. Notice how even in this card, like the hands are kind of like bonded together, like tied together. These are soul contracts that cannot be avoided. These are soul contracts that need to play out because this is directly related to your soul growth and evolution in this lifetime, to one of the many purposes that you came here for. Because remember, we all have multiple purposes and they shift and grow as we do. D says moving on is good. All right. If anybody wants more information about that, because that's really hitting home for them, reach out for, we can do a personal reading there. Clear, reach out to me for that. All right. Midheaven, pinnacle, success, people reaching new heights of success. And that's because our views of ourselves are expanding, the possibilities, our capabilities, right? All right. I think, ooh, all right, we're going to do a Beyond Lemuria here. And I was looking toward the Black Moon Astrology deck. We've done a lot. Which one first, you guys? Do you guys want to do Beyond Lemuria first, or do you want to do Black Moon Astrology first? Beyond Lemuria, vote 1. Black Moon Astrology, vote 2. Which one? I feel like I should be doing like that music from like The Price is Right or whatever, or Jeopardy. I got to vote for Black Moon here. Oh, yeah. I hear ya. I hear you, D. Trust me. Said his brain has been itching and ready to explode. I've gone through. Okay, we got another vote for Black Moon. Hello, Isila. All right. Anti says Black Moon. Let's do it then. Let's run it, you guys. Clear. Starting out with Chiron on the bottom of the deck before the shuffle. And Lord knows we've been experiencing a lot of healing, baby. All right. What else wants to come out? As we move through this magical month of May, this magnificent, magical, magnanimous, does that work? month of May. Yes, we see you, Annika. Tell us, what else? What is a black moon astrology? What is important for us to know here? We have the 5th house coming out, creativity. Then we also have the Grand Cross, provoker. Interesting. All right, so this is 5th house energies in general, though, is what I'm feeling, though. It's not just the creativity piece, although for some people, it is children, dating, all of the beautiful things that the 5th house represents for us. There's a resurgence of energy there, but with the Grand Cross here, this is like some type of event that is the catalyst for a breakthrough. And it may not necessarily be the most pleasant event. Oh, it's interesting. I'm feeling for somebody that somebody's going to find out that somebody is pregnant. Either this just for somebody, okay? Somebody is going to find out that they're pregnant or their partner is pregnant. Ooh, that's always a fun one. And the quote here for the Grand Cross card is, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. I like that. It's kind of like another way of saying, one of my excerpts from one of my favorite Hunter S. Thompson quotes is, buy the ticket, take the ride, right? So that's it. That's kind of a funny quote to be bringing up with just the scenario I just mentioned, right? I'm sorry. If somebody's going through that situation, I know, because my pregnancy was not planned. Neither one. I've actually been pregnant twice. I have one child. You do the math. But yeah, it's not a situation to be taken lightly or laughed at. If somebody's going through that, that is probably, that is intense, especially if you were not, and this doesn't feel like something that was planned. All right. So my heart, my energy, my love goes out to you, and whatever choice, whatever decision, whatever road that leads down. I didn't mean to make light of that. You know, you guys know, we like to laugh and joke, right? There you go, Jamie. That's the way to do it right there. Abstinence really is the best way. We do have a lot of these beautiful star children coming onto the planet right now, though, you know, so it's a tough racket. I mean, that was a big, if not the reason that I had my son, was just that feeling that spiritual calling to do so, you know, and putting the mission above all, you know what I mean? So if somebody's experiencing that, like, reach out to me for a personal reading or energy healing, something, if you're feeling like you need support through that process. Yeah. But the way that I'm feeling this the most, though, I gotta say, for that specific scenario, is somebody finding this out, and this is the catalyst that really provides a lot of deep transformation, right? And I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much with that. I don't like to put thoughts in people's heads surrounding, you know what I mean? It's a tightrope, walking that tightrope. But I will say, like, this experience and whatever comes of this is a huge impetus for change and growth. That's what I will say on that. That's what I'm feeling from that. Oh, interesting. Talking about the fours again, this card, the Grand Cross, the 4 directions, right? Represents the 4 directions. It's also called the Cosmic Cross, which I actually did not know, which is amazing. It indicates a crisis, yet through this calamity, there will be painful process of growth and then renewal, and eventually a greater foundation for happiness and success. Yeah. Yeah. So ultimately something really good and really powerful and beautiful coming out of this, but it's going to be a shock. And it's not, all right, for everybody else, it's like it could vary for the other people that this is gonna resonate for. But something shocking that comes out of left field that feels like a crisis, but is actually like exactly what you need in order to catalyze your growth moving forward. Your creativity, your ability to love, your ability to experience joy and fulfillment. It's like ultimately bringing in more joy and fulfillment and more creativity and openness. And this is the Leo house, the 5th house. So that big heart opening energy here. All right. Anything else that we need to know? Oh, this is once again speaks to destined and fated relationships and partnerships. All right. So that energy really wanting to come through and be known. All right, if you are meeting somebody right now and you feel like you've known this person for lifetimes, it's because you have. You feel like there's unfinished business between the two of you. There is. You feel like this person is going to forever change you. They are. All right. Don't run from it. Run toward it. That's what we do, right? We run toward the growth. We run toward the evolution. We run toward the fear as long as it's, not a legitimate fear. Like if it's a literal bear, we don't run toward the bear. But the metaphorical bear, we do, right? Because that's where the growth occurs. Hello, Jakey. Hello. Somebody may be, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I call my son a miracle baby because he sure is. Anybody who knows me, my human, nah. Like both me and my partner, both his father, like neither one of us, that was not in the cards. Our families did not expect that. We're both pushing 40. You know what I mean? Like it was not expected. And people who know me still, some of them, I think they probably, I know my partner's mom had to actually pull over when he told her on the phone that we were having a baby because she was afraid she was going to get into an accident. It was that shocking. I mean, that's, he's a miracle. He's beautiful though. He's beautiful. He's such a gift, such a blessing. And now as I found an opportunity on a personal level to do some powerful healing as well, to make up for past energies, for past choices and decisions. It's just, it's so incredibly beautiful. Such an incredible gift. Yeah. The new black moon, oh, I like that. Referring to the new moon we just had. Yep. I'm just reading over the comments for a minute, you guys. Yeah, the chat format's gotten weird. I couldn't even find it one day when I was on my computer. Just looking through, making sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, and thank you, Delightful Camping, by the way. Yeah, she did. Yep. Luckily, it all turned out well. She was able to pull over to the side of the road and breathe for a minute. And both of our parents had the same reaction too. They were like, are you sure? Are you sure this is what you want to do? Because they just, it was not. Yeah. I don't know, Jamie. It is and it isn't. Like I can say, like, I definitely wish a lot of times, like since I've had my son, I have moments where I'm like, I know this is a like very controversial kind of thing to say maybe, but I'm like, man, I understand why women had babies at like 15 in the medieval times because they had the energy to chase after that kid. Like I feel like if I had even done this in my 20s, I would have had so much more energy to match his energy level. Like once you start, you're getting in your late 30s, you're getting towards your 40s. It's like the amount of energy that they have, the amount of sleep that you're lacking. And being a mom and going through the whole pregnancy process in your late 30s, it's something else. It is, you know what I mean? I think like mentally and emotionally, the level of stability and the fact that you know yourself and you're hopefully like stabilized on other levels makes it a really great time to have a kid. Physically, I don't know. It depends on how well you take care of yourself. It's definitely been that provoker type of energy that's caused us both to like the final piece that's caused us to both take our health really seriously. Not that I didn't do that before, but it's easy to put some stuff on the back burner. You know what I mean? And you can't do that anymore when you got a kid. So in that way, it really switched up a lot too. Yeah. Plus the ascension energies. Oh yeah. I'm telling you that my pregnancy was insane. It was so crazy. Let's see. 44 now. Oh, 44, going with the fours again. I love that. Yeah. Hey, I know women in their 40s who have had babies or are pregnant recently. I'm telling you guys, these star children, they can't come into just anybody. All right. There are certain things, certain like the energy, the frequency, what's been put into the body to a certain extent. Like there are parameters, and many people are being invited to take this plunge, to take this journey, because these children, these are so important to have on this planet at this time. And another thing that I was told regarding this was that, because a lot of people say that this new wave of starseeds coming in, that they're brand new to this planet because they're such high frequency beings. Yes, for some, but some of them have been coming for many, many lifetimes. It's just now they're able to bring more of the fullness of their vibration into their vessels with them. Right. So we had to dumb our energy down a lot in order to be able to come into this density. Right. We had to attach the ego, the false self, to bring our density down, our consciousness down, our vibration down. And only so much of our soul energy could fit into this vessel. And now those of us who are doing this, who are doing the work, who are healing, who are releasing our density, we are having walk-ins, gradual walk-ins of our higher selves as more and more of that energy is integrating into the body. And we know the 888 Lionsgate this year, the 888, because it is an 8-year, is going to be a big energy for that. That's part of what we're prepping ourselves for right now, right? However, like these children don't have to go through that process. They're just coming in with all of that energy fully present within their being. And so some of them are brand new souls. Some of them are souls that have come before, but they haven't come this fully. They haven't been able to bring this much of their soul energy and essence and true vibration in onto this planet because the frequency was not a match. Because of the indigos and all of the waves of starseeds before us, who have come here and conditioned the energy and helped to release the density, do the karmic clearing, right? The clearing of the lineage, the ancestral healing, all of this stuff. We have prepared this energy for them to enter and to bring their true vibration in, which is really, really powerful and really beautiful. All right, Robin, we love you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us as you could. Yeah. You have a rare blood type too, so it would be awesome starseed. Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You got a Chiron and Virgo too. Yeah, I got that Virgo moon, baby. So I know all about it. Yep. Yep. Right? Ty says, I'm not worried about my 11-year-old. She seems like she knows what she's doing here. Oh, she does. They know. And that's the funny thing is like, yes, to an extent, like we are meant to teach them, but really they're meant to teach us. Right? Because they know, they come in with their knowings, they come in with their intuition. The only thing that we're meant to do at this time is like not fuck them up. That's it. Not repress or ask them to repress or suppress their abilities, their gifts, their knowings, to support them fully. That's it. And be open and teachable because they are our teachers. All right, let's see what else wants to come through here. Got the North Node coming out again, both decks here, North Node energy. All right, these are the moments of crisis, the tests of faith, so to speak, that are the precursors to really aligning us with our soul path. All right, so whatever crisis, whatever challenging circumstances you are going through right now, know that those are there to make you, not to break you. Yeah. We have Mars coming out again, this Mars energy, this divine masculine energy. All right. And we talked about this a little bit. This is going back to the CMEs too, the coronal mass ejections. The divine masculine is experiencing powerful awakenings this year. All right. There's a massive, a wave of divine masculines awakening as we're moving through 2024. And yes, this is the masculine energy within every single one of us. But those who would identify as divine masculines, if we're identifying in that way, so a lot of people in masculine bodies, although not, it's the masculine within all of us, like I said, really activating and awakening. And I see that the Mars card continuing to come out here with all these cards too, as being indicative of that, of these beautiful masculines awakening. We have the third house messages coming through. I mean, the masculines on here and the inner masculines on here, like you guys have been awakened for a while, right? But there's another wave of your brothers that are catching up here. Yeah, and they're going to need your support. They're going to need that support. They really, really are. Because it's a whole different paradigm when our divine masculine energy begins to awaken. Right? Because the divine masculine, that's not the template that the world was built on, right? This inverted matrix was built on toxic, inverted masculine energy. So when masculines, especially those who identify as masculine, begin coming into their awareness, really begin coming into the, like, recognizing those toxic patterns and releasing all of the programming, right? And stepping into their divine essence. Like that's going to be a challenging road. And there is a lot more of a blueprint for that available by now, thanks to all of the beautiful, courageous masculines who have already awakened and set foot upon this journey. You know, thanks to the changing narrative when we're looking at gender roles and all of that kind of stuff, right? But this is also, like I said, the masculine within each and every single one of us. So it's like, this is the energy within us, right? A lot of feminines or people who identify more strongly with the feminine essence and energy have hyperactive masculine energy because our feminine doesn't feel safe, right? And so it's that healing and activating within those who identify as feminine as well, of that, the ways that our own inner masculine comes out and sort of takes over, or has been sort of like, I know this is maybe like an unpopular term or way to say it, but almost like castrated, you know what I mean? Afraid to stand in its power, made to feel ashamed of itself. That part of us made to feel ashamed, right? Like we have to be, yes, we all do. We all have a masculine and a feminine energy and essence. Every single one of us, right? We are a blend of those two essences. We have one a lot of times that we operate more strongly from, and a lot of souls have one that they identify more strongly with. And a lot of times, but not always, as we're seeing more and more, right? The gender that we incarnate as is the essence that we identify with the most strongly. This is not always the case, okay? Right? And the goal is to unify those energies, to balance those out. But we do come to have an experience as within one of those essences as well. You know what I mean? Like my soul incarnated into this body to have an experience of her divine feminine and divine masculine essences while taking a feminine form. You know what I mean? That's going to be a different journey than somebody who decided to have a deeper experience of their feminine energies while taking a masculine form. Or somebody who decided to have that experience, but change the form, shift the form during the lifetime to match what they identify with most strongly, right? That's going to be a different experience. And part of my experience is also learning how to balance out and embrace that inner masculine energy that still exists within me. For me, it was actually a process of learning how to allow the feminine energy to flow in a more organic way, I guess is the best way that I could put it. Like I capitalized on certain aspects of sort of like toxic feminine energy, or ways that the feminine has been inverted, right? The ways that helped to get me power, the ways that I had power over others, right? Especially the opposite sex in my younger years, right? That was the ways that I worked with my feminine energy, right? Very inverted ways. And then my masculine energy, I worked with most of the rest of the time, right? As a defense mechanism to keep myself safe. So it was toxic feminine and toxic masculine energy. And part of my journey has been learning how to allow that beautiful, organic, divine feminine energy to come out, as opposed to like the more inverted forms of that energy. How to let my masculine take a back seat sometimes, bring the feminine forward more, but allow the masculine to still be that strong container, still be that strong protector. I don't know if any of this, it's going to make sense for who it's supposed to make sense for. It's going to resonate for who it's meant to resonate for. But Dennis, sorry. I know that was some extreme verbiage there with the castration piece, but it's kind of like that, right? Like some of us is like we cut our masculine off and we won't allow ourselves to be assertive. We won't allow ourselves to have any of that kind of an energy, right? To go after what we want because something or someone taught us that that was wrong, that was inconsiderate, that was selfish. And so there's like a healing of that as well. Yeah. We got the messages, the intuition activating here with the third house on the bottom of the deck. I know somebody posted in the, I'm showing up more and getting more active in the free Facebook group again, which we do have for anybody who wants to. We got Pluto again, you guys. This is going to be a powerful, transformative time. And then we have the solar eclipse revolution, the sun. And it's so funny too, because I was watching a video before this, and Carrie Kay was talking about the black sun, which is exactly what this looks like, right? Which is once the sun has ejected all of this light energy for the great solar flash, she was talking about what's left is essentially a black hole, because that's what the sun is, also is a black hole. And so that was really interesting, really fascinating, the energy of the black sun, and seeing this card come out, which was exactly the image on the video, I think. Yeah. Let's see. Dark feminine, sexual empowerment and reclamation is helpful too. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, it all depends. We have to really know ourselves, right? Because there were times where I was acting in my sexual energy, in my feminine sexual energy, and I thought it was coming from a place of liberation and empowerment, but really it was coming from a place of domination, coercion, and control. So it's like we have to really know. We have to really be able to, and not that I regret or take back any of those experiences, right? Because I needed them. You know, I have a really strong true black moon Lilith placement in my chart. You know what I mean? Like this is, it was important for me to explore all of that energy, the different ways. Now we have 8th house, right? Speaking of that, and Pluto, putting it down on the Pluto card, that energy manifested in me and worked through a lot of those paradigms and come to healing around a lot of that. You know, so it's never a mistake. It's just being conscious of our energy and the ways that we're using it, and you know, using it responsibly, right? Because there is a lot of density there, and there's a lot of our sexual energy specifically is an energy that the archons really like to feed off of, right? That's our creational energy. And they've done a lot to pervert that energy. So the liberation and empowerment comes from like taking that energy back. And yes, saying, I'm going to use my sexual energy the way that feels resonant to me, but I'm going to use it in complete empowerment, not playing into all of this old wounding, all of this trauma, all of this, dark, dense energy. You know what I mean? I'm not going to allow that to be siphoned off of. I'm not going to allow myself to be fed off of by these dark beings, right? By these dark entities. Because I'm operating from a place of shame. I'm operating from a place of repression. I'm operating from a place of just like addiction, you know what I mean? Or a place of just dark gratification, you know what I mean? It's a very varied, it's a very intense subject that really deserves it's a whole other live stream, right? And yes, we are all androgynous in spirit. Although from what I've heard and what resonates to me, I think a lot of times, like when we're playing, we like to take forms. You know what I mean? Like we're just a ball of light, essentially, right? A ball of energy and frequency. But we like to play and take different forms to have different experiences. And that's all it is, right? That's all it is. But part of what we're learning when we're working in this dimension of polarity, right, is the masculine and the feminine. We're learning about the dynamics of those energies. You know, and it all depends on like what you believe to be true. But in some of the creation lore and the creation stories that I've become acclimated to, aware of, so to speak, Divine Mother created and birthed Divine Father from her being, right? As the first energy outside of her, in order to create through this polarity, through the negative and positive polarization, through the masculine and the feminine polarities, all of creation. You know what I mean? So it's like those energies, those charges are what create all that is. Even though, yes, we are androgynous in spirit, you know, but we take on these roles so that we can have these experiences. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is like the third dimension, the false matrix essentially is like run and created by energy vampires, right? So constantly revoking our consent to have our vitality siphoned, to have our energy siphoned, to have our energy used in any way. I do not consent to any type of infringement upon any aspect of my being in this or any other time, space, dimension, or multidimensional reality. Mutal et mute ra. Clear. That is one of the things that I say multiple times a day. All right, we're going to get one Beyond Lemuria card to close here. My phone is dying, and it is about that time, folks. So we're going to close with one Beyond Lemuria card. I love how we always end up on these tangents. And half the time it's like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what we just said in the last like 20, 30 minutes. You know what I mean? But somebody needed to hear it, or we needed to hear it, or we just needed to discuss it or flesh out these energies. Something that Spirit's telling me right now is that we are actually alchemizing and releasing energies when we have these discussions on here together, that's pretty cool, right? Right? Like we're healing and releasing and alchemizing energies simply by having these conversations. 333 on your clock, Maestro. Love it. There's a beautiful confirmation right there. All right. Final card, final message as we move through these months of May. And of course, Spirit has to give us two with high heart chakra on the bottom of the deck. Follow your bliss, ecstatic bliss, right? Activating that higher heart. Then we have the violet flame and communication co-creation here. So continuing that theme of alchemy here, working with that violet flame as we move through this month to help assist you in alchemizing, energies. Taurus rules the throat. Had some issues going on with the throat around here lately. Had a bit of a sore throat. My partner has a wicked sore throat right now. We also alchemize energies through the throat chakra, use of the throat, use of the voice. If you find yourself out in public and you're coughing a lot, a part of that is alchemizing and clearing energies, clearing heavy energies, clearing darker energies. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, so there's the heart chakra right there with the chest infection, Sarah. Clearing all that density out of the chest, out of the heart chakra. All right, so the violet claim is obvious. Well, the violet claim. And this is funny too, because this is going to help clear when we talked about the karmic energies and things like that. So if you find yourself working through these karmic themes and energies, and you're wanting to send some healing or some clearing to a connection, use the violet flame. Imagine, you know how we have cords that connect us to the people that we have relationships with, that we have interactions with, right? And you can do this for anything, a situation, an addiction, it can be anything. It doesn't necessarily need to be a person, but this will definitely work for a person. Imagine that cord connecting the two of you. And sometimes there are multiple cords, so just go with whatever you see. And then imagine bringing the violet flame through that cord, purifying and cleansing the entire cord and both of you. And that can be like a reset for energy between the two of you. Yeah, for family members, I feel like some people are going to be using this on family members. And what Spirit wants you to know here is that you are always co-creating. You are co-creating with everybody that you have a connection to, as well as, of course, Spirit. So you want to be really conscious of who, isn't that funny? You can see the cord coming out of her head and these cords are creating this. I didn't even notice that. Pay attention to who you are connecting to, who and what you are aligning yourself with, because they are part of your creation journey. Every time you share, like if you share your hopes or your dreams with somebody, you are co-creating with them because you've brought them into the energy of your dream space. All right, this is why it's really important. Like they say sometimes, like when you're creating or manifesting, to keep the energy to yourself, to not share it with a lot of people. I think when you share it with people who are of like mind, it's beautiful because that energy multiplies. But if you share it with someone who doesn't believe in you or your dreams or visions, their negative energy comes into the mix, into the melting pot of those energies. So you don't want to do that. All right, share it with people who believe in you. Share it with people that hold that vision. All right. And know that everybody you're bringing into your reality is co-creating with you in some sense because their energy is part of the mix. Think about it. We've used the analogy of a soup or a pot before. They're blending their energy into that pot too. They're stirring all that frustration. They're stirring all that negative energy into your pot if that is what they are, or where they're at. Just like if they are like in a good space, if they are moving in the ways that you want to move, they are bringing that positive energy, right? They're sprinkling that glitter and that good vibes into that pot. And that's what you're serving up. That's what you're eating. That's what you're creating. So pay attention to that. Align yourself with people who hold your vision. All right. That old adage, you are who you hang with. That is so important. If you want to be successful, align yourself with people who are successful. If you want to dream big and you want to believe in yourself, align yourself with people who dream big and people who believe in themselves and people who believe in you. Okay. If you align yourself with the Debbie Downers of the world, that's what you're mixing into your pot. All right. So Spirit wants us to really pay attention to that piece of things. And also the downloads and the information that we're receiving from our higher selves in spirit right now. Okay. Also, this is interesting. Paying attention to the way we communicate beyond words is another part of this card as well. Should I read this? I usually read it. I love telepathy. This is about artistic information. Yeah, we're going to read it. Those were some additional messages, but we're going to read what's on the card as well to close here. Hello, Lavender. I'm so glad you're here with us. Oh, Heather. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Bless you. Bless you. My heart goes out to you. That is, the single parents are the fucking warriors of this world. I mean, we're all warriors, but single parents are real fucking warriors. All right, 444 on your screen, 144 there. I love it. 444 for me too. Changed to 45 as I was saying it, but whatever, it's fine. All right, we'll read this to close here. We normally think of information as something that can be written or spoken. But if something is multidimensional, it is almost impossible to share it with words. I feel I have quite a lot of information in my field now, and yet my intelligence cannot fathom it. And this is also speaking to the conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter and all those downloads. Remember how we talked about in past videos? All those downloads are held within the unconscious and slowly filtering down into the consciousness when and where necessary. And some of it never filters down into the conscious mind, and that's okay. It doesn't need to. It is integrating where it needs to integrate. Okay, metaphor or song may hint at its vastness, but it is more like a reminder or catalyst that encourages something to stir inside the listener, right? So we're benefiting from all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the downloads, even the ones that we don't consciously comprehend, right? Art is one way I have sought to share this information. Whatever language you speak, the emotion and message of art and music can be understood. And we did get that 5th house card. So really working with the energy of expressing your energy, expressing your divinations, expressing the downloads that you are receiving. If you just feel like you're bursting with a message to share and you don't know how to share it, work through art, through music. All right. In my healing work, when I feel the energy that comes through hands, there is a sense that my soul and that of the client are in deep conversation. I often feel that I am much more competent at conversation in these realms. My synesthesia allows me to navigate this information in real time rather than having to slow down and translate it into words that feel constricting and dull compared to the vast yet simple nature of what I am looking to express. This is why I paint. A lot of the work I do is in the unseen realms, but I understand part of my role is to bridge these realities and inspire a wider understanding of what is possible. And we talked about this in another live stream as well, the energy of how telepathy is not words that we think at each other in our heads, all right? It's entire concepts, it's feelings, it's emotions, it's sometimes visions, yes, but it's like we communicate without the hindrance of words, all right? It's just one direct download to another. Downloading to each other, downloading from spirit, receiving, giving, all right? That's what telepathy is. It's an entire volume of information can be translated in a second, all right? But sometimes it is difficult because it's not delivered in words. It's difficult to deliver in words. You know what I mean? Thus, you may notice unusual looking codes in many of my paintings. All right, so she's talking about herself, how she translates her downloads into visual art, into basically visual light language, right? Let's see. So pay attention to the light language around you and all the different ways that it might show up for you. The signs, the synchronicities, right? And the codes, right? Because we're receiving light codes all the time. Many people say that when we're seeing certain synchronicities of numbers, that also means that we're receiving light codes and activations, especially 144, as the 144,000 does relate to the number of activations our light body receives during ascension or up to the point of ascension. So 144 is a major, 1111 and 144, a major light code activation numbers. But any series of numbers like that can indicate light code activations. Just like the portals, right? The repeating numbers in the days represent light code activation days. Get 1111 all day. There you go. Yep. Yep. Light language and light codes come in so many forms, Sarah Lou says. Absolutely, Sarah. They truly, truly do. It's endless. It's endless, right? How many different forms have we talked about in this video? We talked about the conjunctions of the planets. We talked about the portals. We talked about the CMEs, the coronal mass ejections. Now we're talking about light language, symbols, codes, numbers, right? It comes all in so many different ways and ways that we haven't even discussed, ways we don't even fathom, that we don't even know. So just be open to it. What is for your highest good? Hello, Lavender Star. Oh yeah, I commented on your comment, but I didn't say hi. So hi. Okay, so let's see here. As we evolve our conscious awareness, we start to pick up on information such as what those around us are about to say, or that which the universe is trying to tell us. So trust your budding intuition right now. Our intuition is activating to a higher level. Our telepathy is a big part of that activation. All right, so trust in yourself. It's so imperative that we learn to do this, that we stop questioning ourselves. Right? We receive a download, we receive an activation, and then the mind kicks in and tries to explain it away. Right? Or we interpret a synchronicity. We instantly know what it means, but then our mind says, "Ooh, but do you really? Are you sure?" You know what I mean? Like that's like the key phrase of the ego right there. If we're ever wondering the difference between the ego and the intuition, the ego comes in, "Are you sure?" You know what I mean? Yes, we empaths. Yes, absolutely. All right, so the divinatory meaning of this card says, how are you communicating beyond words? Perhaps you are being misunderstood because there is a dissonance between your words, actions, and behavior and what you actually mean to communicate. Words are like spells, so be conscious of what you say, as you may be verbally sabotaging your intended meaning. And this is why we talk so much about the importance of meaning what you say and saying what you mean, and paying attention to the words that you use, the way you speak about yourself, your world, your reality, your intentions, all right? It is so important because that is so powerful, just as powerful, if not more powerful than our thoughts, because our words are thoughts given a vibration, right? A deeper vibration, right? Because our thoughts have a vibration, but when we speak them, we add that added frequency, that added emphasis, okay? So if this talks about how words can mean different things to different people, and some things may get lost in translation, right? We all have different things, different meanings that we attach to certain words, negative or positive, whether that's really what the word means or not. I'm going to use an example of a friend of mine because I know he wouldn't be upset. So he was always criticized for being too dreamy, and different things like that when he was younger. And his family always told him he needed to be more practical. All right. And so to him, practical means like the death of our dreams. It means like turning your back on who you truly are. It means like dreaded, gross heaviness and responsibility. And to somebody else, it doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means like, let's be, you know, like a Taurus energy, right? Having the new moon in Taurus right now. Taurus, practical is a good thing. Practical means like I'm taking the necessary steps. I'm seeing a situation, evaluating it, and I'm acting accordingly. And this is good because my physical world is taken care of. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not a bad thing, but to my friend, it is a bad thing, right? Because of those connotations. And so any word can have those connotations for people, where like what it means to one person is not what it means to somebody else. So when we speak something to somebody, they're interpreting something that perhaps we didn't mean. And that's why it's so important. And that's why empaths have such an edge, right? Because we can read vibration, we can read frequency, we can read emotion. This is a great gift, although sometimes it can be a curse, right? That's why we have to learn to shield and protect our energy and clear our energy, which reminds me, to anyone who didn't hear before, get the energy clearing meditation linked in the description box below if you want to clear your vibration, clean up your frequency. All right. My phone is going to die, so I'm trying to get all of this out as quickly as possible here. So pay attention. Miscommunication may be occurring. All right. Let's see what else here. An issue may be cleared through improved communication. Listen carefully to what someone has to say without interruption. And especially around the 15th, like we said, when we have Mercury entering Taurus square Pluto, this miscommunication energy and being triggered by what people are saying because we're reading different meanings into the words, or even that we are reading the energy behind the words and it's not matching up. That's going to be something for somebody too. Hello, Sweden. Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. Let's see here. Furthermore, so it says, listen carefully to what someone has to say without interruption, without simply waiting for your turn to speak, right? Be fully present with them, listen. And it may feel scary to share vulnerable truths, but this may be the only way forward. So this is about getting real, raw, open, and honest with people. This card also encourages greater exploration in the realms of telepathy, healing, and the arts, such as poetry, painting, and music, where there is collective communication beyond the mind. All right. Beautiful. I love it. I love that for us. Also pay attention. Don't question yourself. A lot of empaths, right? Empaths tend to be born out of trauma. Okay, they had to learn how to read situations, how to read the room in order to be safe. And some of us are just natural empaths, I believe, right? It's one of our psychic gifts, empathy, that being able to pick up on, feel, and sense and energies. That's clairsentience, right? But there is an aspect of that to it. So this creation of an empath from trauma, a lot of times it's narcissistic abuse and things like this create that, right? So there's this energy where we are taught that we cannot believe the reality in front of us, that the way we perceive reality is wrong. And so a lot of empaths, sometimes you perceive a situation, you perceive a person's energy, but part of you tells you that you're wrong because you've always been taught that you were wrong. And so really learning how to master and embrace our psychic gifts has to do with like really owning the fact that we know what we know. We can't tell you how we know, but we know. All right. And trusting yourself, trusting your judgment. All right. This is part of becoming spiritually savvy, is being able to trust your own judgment, your own intuition, and to read the energy of others in an objective, not a subjective way, right? Where we're not putting our own stuff, projecting our own stuff out. We're seeing and reading other energies clearly, because this can happen sometimes to empaths when our filter becomes too cluttered, too clogged, right? Yeah. And the psychic activations, if we are allowing them, and the way that we disallow them is by not trusting them and not believing in ourselves. That's how we shut down the activation of our gifts. As we learn to open up and trust ourselves more, then those gifts begin to flourish. And I'm actually going to plug my phone in for a minute. I had my mic plugged in. Give me, guys. There we go, because my phone was going to die. It's like the more we can open up to that, when we trust it, that's when the energy, that's when our psychic senses begin to grow and flourish. And if you guys want assistance with any of this, like I said, reach out to me. All of my information is in the description box below. I have the one-on-one coaching going on right now. Really powerful way to shift your energy, your frequency, to align with your highest timeline, to liberate yourself, to become spiritually savvy and tap into your creative cosmic power. All right. Also energy healing sessions, all the different things that I do, personal readings, like you name it, we got it. So if you like my energy, if you feel activated, if you feel supported and you want to continue to feel and receive that support on a one-on-one basis, reach out to me for any of the different things that I do. Grab that energy clearing meditation. It'll be really useful as we're moving through. It's always going to be useful, right? And it's like, know that you can do any of this stuff yourself. Just set the intention, meditate, and like start playing around, start visualizing, right? Our third eye is our imagination. All right. Our psychic senses are our imagination. This is why we were taught. And this is the importance, like we said, when we have these starseed children, not to tell them that their imagination's wrong, not to shut that down, because that is our third eye. All right. So it's like getting back in touch with that. This is fifth house energy too, being playful again, embracing that inner child, really like allowing that imagination to play. That's another way of allowing our psychic senses to grow and to activate and to optimize, right? Yeah. Yeah. The more you trust your intuition, the more your intuition will come through. Just like the more you celebrate those signs and synchronicities, the more signs and synchronicities you will see. You know, I asked for my light family to show themselves to me the other day, and I saw 3 planes. I asked them again the other night, and I saw 30. You know what I mean? So just another example of that. Oh, thank you, Jakey boy. Welcome to the tribe. Welcome to the tribe. We're glad to have you here with us. Yes, and Lavender Star as well. Trying to see who else is new in the chat here. Sweden, have you been in here before? You feel relatively new as well. I appreciate you and your energy that you are lending in here. It is luck or not. Does the money stay in the card at all? Oh, you're reading tarot right now, Sweden? Is that what you're saying? You're pulling some cards? I love that. I love it when cards match up, when people, especially when they have the same decks as me, as they pull cards and the cards match up. That's so fun. Are you working out right now, Isela? Looking through. I think I might have seen a couple other people that are newer, or maybe just don't catch the live streams as often. So I want to welcome everybody who is new, who caught this live stream as well. We are so happy to have you here. Yes, we keep the vibe high here. You know what I mean? Like, we're real, we're raw, we're authentic, we do the work, but at the same time, like, you know, we don't consent to any of those lower vibrational energies in the form of, like, you know, negative Nancy's just coming in here trying to take a dump. Like, that's not what this is all about. You know, we are doing the work, but we can have fun while we're doing it. Clear. And yeah, this is such a beautiful, supportive tribe and community. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you for being here with me. I don't feel like there's really much else to say right now. I think this has been an awesome live stream. You guys know it takes me forever to, like, say goodbye and let you guys go, but I do have some stuff to do tonight, so I will. But yeah, we got lots of good stuff coming. The Pleiadian portal, we'll dig into that more deeply. We will dig into the full moon in Sagittarius more deeply. I think there's something else too. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So definitely expect videos on those 2 things coming up. And then, of course, another live stream. I want to start doing a consistent date and time for a live stream. It's been a little bit, my schedule's a little bit interesting right now. And so, yeah, sometimes it's difficult to make sure that I have that specific time set aside. But moving forward here, I'm going to do that because I would really like us to know, like, all right, on this date and this time, this is happening. You know what I mean? And I might do a poll. I'm probably going to do a poll, just like I'm interested to know like what you guys are interested in as far as like the different offerings that I'm creating. Like I know some things that I'm doing. You guys know I'm doing the one-on-one coaching now. You know that I am creating a really beautiful membership. We have the Patreon, but I'm creating something else, something very involved and very worthy of all of you beautiful priests and priestesses, gods and goddesses on here, all of you beautiful emanations of source energy. But I want to know what else you guys are interested in. I want to know what you guys want to do. I want to know how interested you guys even are in the things that I am doing. So I'm going to create a poll for that, but I'm probably going to create one just to see like what times would be good times to, if we're going to schedule a consistent live stream. Like it seems like a decent amount of people are on in the afternoons right now, which is great because that's definitely a good time for me. But like, I want to know. I am on school, Lavender. What do you mean by that? By on school? I mean, I'm part of courses on school. I'm not sure. I mean, school, eventually I may do courses on. Right now, when I start doing courses, they're probably going to be on something a little bit less, just something more budget friendly, I guess you could call it. That's when like the really involved courses. We're going to start out, I think I talked about the tarot for beginners course and maybe a beginner's astrology course or some of these little things just to kind of get the flow going with that. And those probably won't be on school, but I have some courses that I'm personally taking that I am on school, but it's not like, not for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm part of other things on school. I don't have my own like, page or anything like that. You know what I mean? I am on Patreon right now. So we do have a Patreon. We also have a free Facebook group. And like I said, there's another membership that I am creating for everyone that's going to have like so many cool elements to it. But that's a little bit further down the road. But definitely if you know people that would enjoy this vibe and enjoy the energy here, like invite them here. Let's get them into this space. Let's get them into this beautiful container and let's all connect together. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And whatever it is that you are appreciating within me, know that I'm a reflection of that within you, right? We're all beautiful reflections for each other. Like the fact that like if you feel like I was funny today, like that's probably because a lot of you guys who are watching today are funny, right? We're all empathic here. We all feed off of each other's energy, right? We all play off of each other's energy, you know what I mean? Yeah. Awesome. Oh, thank you, Lavender. Yeah, I mean, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, all of that stuff. I'm actually on Rumble. We're going to be doing live streams. That's all of the social media links are in my description box, in the bio, as well as the Patreon and the Facebook group. And we are going to be doing, it's just I've had so much going on. But we're going to start doing live streams on Rumble moving into the future here because Rumble offers completely free speech. There are some things that we can't really talk about on YouTube because of the censorship. And so we're going to be doing, like right now, we're getting the following going on Rumble. You need so many followers so you can live stream. I think we've already hit that goal. It's just, I got a lot of pots on the stove right now, as well as the, being a full-time mom. So we're going to get there. We're going to get there right now. This is the priority, but definitely give a follow there because that's where you're going to hear the stuff that we can't necessarily, we dance around it and we talk about more on YouTube than some people would probably say is wise, but there are certain things still that's going to be the place for that. And if this channel ever gets shut down for any reason, that's going to be where we go. That's going to be where we're at. That's why it's good to connect in as many ways as possible, just because you never know. You never know. Absolutely. We have to laugh. We have to have fun. If we didn't, I mean, we probably, I don't think most of us would have survived, right? All right. Love you so much, each and every single one of you. I will talk to you all very soon. Thank you so much for everyone new who joined us, as well as all of my OG superstars, all of my beautiful, sacred, cosmic rebels. You're everything. You are so beautiful. keep shining, right? Keep taking in those beautiful rays and just keep being the beautiful rays of light that you are, right? Illuminating this crazy world. Bye.